everybody, and welcome to our Project Life weekly post. This is a very long video. You can see it's almost an hour long. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes when I started editing. So the fact that I got it down to just under an hour, we're going to take that as a win. And we're just going to do a lot of chatting. So there were several different days that I worked on this project, and things definitely will change. I'm going to pop in and out of voiceover because some of this I did and I spoke directly to the camera, which sometimes is easier for me when I am showing what I'm doing or the decisions I'm making. It's easier to do it in real time, but then my videos are very, very long, and so I try to do the voiceover because then I can speed things up and they're not as fast. I mean, it's not as long, but then the footage is a little bit quicker. So I want to wrap up January with you guys today. We're right here at the end of February. My February has not gone exactly how I wanted it to. We have had some struggles. We've had some sickness. We've had some kids home, and it just has not, I have not gotten everything done that I wanted to do. So I really want to wrap up January because next month in March, I want to get into February and get going. So I have several different things for you today. The first thing that I'm doing here is I am working on this project that I had an idea for in December. And that was to collect all of the business cards from all of the different places that we go to, and then to feature them in my January Project Life. So that's what I'm working on right now. What will end up happening later on in the video is I will end up trimming off this page protector so it's just the 3x4s. So putting all of these 4x4 pieces in here, it just ended up feeling like it was too much. I don't need to do a ton of journaling for these. I mean, the business cards kind of speak for themselves, and it's just, I don't want to attach a bunch of journaling to it. That wasn't really the point. And so as I will get to the end of January and I'll be working through this, I will realize that it's just too much. I start stressing about, well, what do I put in the 4x4 pockets? I need to do more journaling. And if there's ever a moment where you're feeling stressed about something that is in your album, it is 100% okay to just eliminate it. If it's bringing stress, if it's causing stress, like what do I do? Then it's not really worth doing, because a lot of times if something is stressing us out, like with, these pockets, what was happening to me is I was starting to avoid that layout, and I would be like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm just not going to work on it right now. So the easiest thing to do is to eliminate it, take out what is not working, and then get to the thing that is working. So the second thing I want to chat about is I picked the Aqua Kit and the Happy Kit. I mixed those older core kits together because they were so similar, and I really wanted this very colorful rainbow sort of look where it was like all the different colors for all the different things. Now, I definitely did that. I don't know that I love the way that it came out. I don't know that it was the vision that I had. I don't know that I accomplished it. Definitely at the end of the month here, as I've been working on January, I've started to feel like I've not loved January as much. And so that is one of the reasons why later on I will choose to trim that page protector down and move on. So I don't know. I like the core kit. The vision that I had, sometimes when you're thinking about the way a layout is going to come out, or you're thinking about the way the pockets are going to come out, sometimes it doesn't always work out exactly the way the vision is in your head. And I will say that January so far has not been my most favorite month that I've ever put together. But it also is not bad, right? It's not horrible. With the older core kits, I have mentioned that I have to cut those down if I want them to have square corners. You don't have to cut them down if you want rounded corners. And I know I received a comment recently that was like, it seems like that's a lot of work to go through. Like, just leave them rounded. It doesn't matter. And you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you mix rounded corners with square corners. They're beautiful cards. They will work the same way. My preference is to have everything that matches. And I am a matchy kind of person. I want everything to match. If I have one layout that is rounded corners, I want everything to be rounded. And so that's just my personal preference. If it doesn't bother you, then for sure don't go through the work. I also like the way that the white borders look. I have no idea. I must be talking to somebody here. Like maybe Kayla came down, or yeah, I think Kayla came down and I was talking to her. If you like rounded corners, then you can leave them rounded corners. I like the white borders, and I love when I see people who print their photos with white borders. And I know that is something that you can do through Snapfish, is you can pick the option where they will print your photos with white borders. And I used to do that years and years ago when I was first starting out memory keeping. I think I just had Kayla. I don't even think I had any of the other kids yet. I always printed my photos with white borders, and I really loved that. And I always felt like, well, if I don't like it, I can always trim it down. Or if my photo gets trimmed down, that's fine. And so I really did like that. I just don't really know how to do that now, other than I know Snapfish, if you send them out, you can get them that way. I don't get them through Snapfish anymore. I pick up my photos locally. So I don't know. It is really nice. And so in January, that is one of the things that I do like about January, is all the white borders around everything. And of course, I added my faux stitching, where I just did my dash lines around all of the borders. It's something that I often will do. It's something that I really like. And so again, it is time consuming. It's a little bit tedious to do that, but I don't mind doing it. The thing that I wish I would have done with this business card project is I wish I would have used a page protector that had the 4x4 boxes, and then I wish I would have put the business cards on how I'm putting this one on right here, and then I could have added a little bit of journaling above the business card. And instead, you'll see later that the business cards I end up just putting on 3x4s, and I slip them in the pockets, just like the ones that you see now. And I'm not going to add any journaling to them. It'll be fine. And the business cards I picked up one from our local bank. We actually had to get something notarized, and so we were in there anyways. And really, what's really funny is the manager of the bank that we bank at here in our really small town, our really small community. I worked at that bank when I was 18, right out of high school. I worked at that bank, and when I worked at, it was a different branch. It wasn't the bank here in town that we live in. It was actually where my husband works, in the little town that he works in now. I worked at that bank, and she was an assistant manager at the bank that I worked at when I was 18. And now she's the manager of the bank, of the branch here in our little town. And so it's funny when we go in there to do business. So we had to have something notarized. So we picked up that card. I have one from my nail place where I get my nails done. I have one from our favorite diner that we will go to every few months. We go there, and it's a restaurant that I worked at when I was in right after high school, right when high school ended. There is one from my dentist's office, and one from let's see, Lava Dog is a gun shop here in town my husband and my son went to, and they picked up a business card. And then there's one other one. I think it's the diner here in town that we will go to. I wanted to get one from like the post office. My idea was to get them from like all of the places that we go, the hardware store, but some places don't have business cards anymore, which is crazy. Or some places the hardware store was out. And so I ended up just with 6, which worked out to have in those pockets. So that is what my original plan was to do that. And then instead, I just will drop them in the pockets. I'm not going to do any kind of journaling for any of them. I just don't think it's necessary. And then the next page that we're going to do that I'm going to put together is going to be the page right next to it. And I will add my photos for that. And then towards the end of the video, you're going to see me talk about how I've pulled it all together and look at each of the pages. So the page right next to it is the outside photos that we took, that I had my husband take. So some outside photos. And then one thing that I am really starting to really like is 3x4 pockets. So I have always had a mix, particularly with my like everyday photos. I've always taken a real mix of, 4x6 photos. And then there's definitely photos that I can crop down. The one of Violet outside, like in the grass, that was taken as a 4x6 horizontal photo. And I just trimmed it down. I cropped it so that I could do it into a 3x4 pocket. But what I'm finding is I'm really liking working in 3x4 pockets, particularly like the 9x12 page protectors. And I have a ton of them, a ton of 9x12 pockets that are just the 3x4 pockets. And I'm thinking about leaning into that and doing more with that, like doing more in the 3x4 pockets. And something else that I always encourage you to do is if there is something that you're excited about, just like if there's something you're not excited about and you're struggling with it, my advice is to axe it and just like let it go and move on. If there's something that you're really enjoying, I always suggest leaning into that. So there's times that I am wanting to, play around with black and white photos. And so I'll do an entire spread, maybe all of my everyday photos will be black and white. Or a couple years ago, I went with my husband on his job. He was still towing. And so I went with him and I took all of these photos of him working, and I took them all in black and white. And I did that in January one year, and then he was laid off in February, like the very next month. And I was so thankful that I had went with him and took all those photos. And that idea came out of wanting to take black and white photos. I was really just kind of excited about taking black and white photos, and I'd been playing around with taking black and white photos. And I thought, how can I lean into this? What story could I try and tell taking photos in, black and white? And I thought, I'll go with him and I'll take photos and I'll document his work. It'll be a great time. I haven't done that in a while. And then it turned out the very next month, the company he worked for shut down. And it was somewhat due to COVID at the time. And he went into a different line of work. And so those photos of that time in black and white, those black and white photos I took, they were amazing. I was so excited that I had taken them. So I always suggest that you lean in to the things that you're excited about. So if you're, feeling excited about taking outside photos and you're really, find yourself snapping a lot of photos outside, lean into that and go take photos outside. All of that is going to breed motivation and excitement, and that is the best, right? Those are the things that lead to ideas. So I'm just going to clean some things up here. I get a lot of a mess when I am trimming these down, these cards down to make them square. And then I am going to add some filler cards and some places for journaling. Now, the only layout that is not totally finished for January, there's 2 things that are left for January that I need to do. One is the casino layout that I need to do because I need to print some articles. And then the other thing that's not finished is my journaling. So the last thing I needed to do on this side was just add a few filler cards. I will end up using the green striped card. I will end up using that for some journaling later on, and I really end up liking what I did with that card, but I will add some journaling there. Now that is one piece of my January album that needs to be done, is the journaling. And you know, if you've been here long enough, you know that I tend to struggle a little bit with my journaling, or how and what I'm doing, and so that definitely needs to be done. The next thing I'm doing is a few photos here. Now this photo that you're currently seeing is a photo that I put together several photos. I think I did 4 photos, and I used the Pic Collage app for both of these sets of photos, actually. And you can see that I did a little bit of a fun layout, and I'm trying to use these apps a little bit more and just do some more creative things where, like, here's 4 photos that I put into one 4x6. I really love the layout. And then I will add, I'm going to add some stickers on the side of that, and it ends up being one of my favorite pieces in January. And then this is 2 3x4 photos, but each photo has 2 photos, and then one is taller at the bottom and one's taller at the top. You can see that. And I will add some embellishments into that. That will be really fun, and I will talk a little bit more about that when I do my wrap up. But you'll see that when we do the embellishing, you'll see that. And I have really been enjoying that. So that's just a fun aspect, like something different to, try or add. I'm a big believer in keeping things really simple. I tend to just do 4x6 photos, 3x4 photos, and I just try to keep it really simple so that I can get it done. But this is just something that I've been playing around with. Now, this is the layout that is not finished in January. My journaling isn't finished, and then this layout isn't finished. And because I have a few seconds here, I will talk to you about what this project is. I've had a few questions. This is what I refer to as the casino layout. Right outside of right as we're getting ready to go to town, there is this project that is happening that our small town, I live in a historical town in Northern California. We have been fighting this for like 25 years, for a very long time. I mean, I remember when I was in high school, it happening, and it is a casino that is wanting to be brought in, and we don't want a casino in our town, and we've fought against it for like 25 years, and they are breaking ground. They started breaking ground this month. It's been really difficult to watch them tear up our land and to see this happening. And there's some articles that I want to print out, and then I want to just be able to share some of my thoughts about this project, and reflective in our lives and how it is, what we feel about it and what we think about it. I still have the articles to print out. I have one other photo to print out, and then I need to do the journaling with it, so that is going to be unfinished when we wrap up January, but that's what that project is. And because it is a little bit more emotional, it is a little bit harder to finish. And then I have to dig a little bit, is basically the situation. I need to be able to dig a little bit into what everything is to be able to put it into my album. And I just haven't had the capacity to do it. I just haven't had like the emotional bandwidth to like figure it out. So that one is unfinished currently, along with my journaling, and we're gonna jump into me just talking to the camera and sharing what I've done and where I'm at. But those 2 things will be unfinished. I'm hoping to finish my journaling before the end of the month, or at the very, very beginning of February. But those are the 2 things that are undone for January. So let's just jump in, and let me show you what I've done and where I'm at. What I want to show you is where I'm at in my album, and then what is my next step, because really, when I'm sharing my project life weekly, I really am trying to share with you my system, the tips and tricks that I use to keep on top of this. In January, I got caught up on 2024, in February, you've seen me do my inserts basically. So here's my everyday photos. I also have a design, I think it's a design F. Yeah, design F from Becky Higgins. But this is a pretty standard 9x12 design. Probably Ali Edwards or scrapbook.com would have it. It was just in my stash. I have an extra that is kind of extra photos. I just needed extra space, and then we've been working through all of these inserts. So I did a video on my 2025 memes. That was my first insert. My second insert is the LA fires. I have a third insert that you're gonna see isn't finished, and this is, so just, I'm gonna briefly explain this story and explain why it's not done. So I live in a very small town. It is a very small community. It is a historical town in Northern California. And there is for the last like 25 years, the town has been fighting against a Indian casino coming in and building in our community. It's literally been like 25 years. I mean, I remember being just barely a teenager when this conversation first started happening. And I know people that are very, very much directly involved. Like pretty much if you live in the town, you're directly involved. And anyways, this month they broke ground, and that's these photos here of them breaking ground, starting the process, as it just legally has got to the place where they're able to do that. And this has been devastating to our community. It's devastating to our town. Violet in particular has had such a hard time. She keeps saying, why are they doing this to our beautiful land? And you can see they're breaking ground and tearing things up and tearing trees out. And I have some photos from like 25 years ago when they did the first city hall discussion, and I have to dig those photos out. And then there's an article in the paper I need to print out. And so there's some things that are definitely undone with this insert. And there's two reasons. One, I've got to dig that information up. The second thing is it's emotional. I've cried a lot. We pass this area here on our way out of town every day. So if we leave town or we come back into town, and I have physically been so angry about it. I've really had to do a lot of work internally and emotionally to not let that anger sit, or not sit with the anger, or not, right? Because it doesn't do any good to be angry. This is what's happening. They're breaking ground. So there's other things that I'm involved in and doing. But it's been hard to do this page because of that. So that's why this is undone. Then I have my calendar. Then we have the business card thing that I did. And then this is some extra photos. It's some photos from our property and outside and around our house. And then this is some more everyday photos that kind of flow into that. So that's where January is. And I have some things that I have set aside. So basically all of my photos are in, right? I don't, other than this one where I need a couple other photos printed, and then I need some articles. I don't know, I might stick the articles in here. That might be a good place for them. So all my photos are basically in. And I have to do some trimming here. Obviously, this is not a heart that's gonna stay. I need that color, and I'll probably put something over that because this is not a heart situation at all. And then my calendar, I haven't done any stamping or anything on it or added anything extra to it. So I think what I'm gonna do today, I have like an hour before I have to leave to pick up my kids. And I really want to create. I really want to be doing something. And so what I thought that I would do is turn the camera on, and I'm going to go page by page and start adding my embellishments and the different things that I know I want to add to the different places. So I have some tags here. I have some, these are letter stickers. I have some twine that is yellow, these colorful hearts, some word phrase stickers, and these labels. I for sure know that I want to use all of this in here. I want to make sure that all of my dash lines are on here. There's a couple places that need that. I'm not doing journaling today. I will do that in a separate video, but I want to go through and add a few of the different things. I will probably leave this one undone, other than maybe cutting these down, trimming these down. And then add my embellishments and anything that needs to do, so it'll be closer to being finished. And then I know that I'll have to do my journaling, I'll do separately, or maybe I'll put it on the end of this video. So I just want to start to get January wrapped up because I want to start February. I've picked my product for February and I would like to get that started. So here is my title page. You guys have seen that. I'm still loving this. I really would like to do more things like this, but I really love that. I did a lot of journaling going into January. This is the start of January. So let's just start here and I will put you on voiceover mode and we will get started just sort of wrapping some of these things up. One thing I did at this point is I pulled the product that I wanted to finish up using. I knew I wanted to use these orange word phrase stickers. I have some pink ones, and then I have the letter stickers, and then those hearts. Now, the thing is that once you put the word phrase stickers down onto a photo, you cannot pull them up. You can pull them up if they're on paper, but once they are on the photo paper, they really do rip. So I wanted to spread a lot of these out. A lot of them, I had on both the pink set and the orange set, a lot of like the days of the week, like Monday, Tuesday, those kinds of things, which I didn't really, I mean, I guess I could have used them, but I didn't really have a spot for them. I don't really know if these photos were taken on Monday or Tuesday, or those I feel like are something that I would need to plan ahead for to be able to use. And then on these cards that there's like this one that says today was, there's another one that has that same writing that says like today I feel, or like you can see the other one says every day. What I did is I took some of the word phrase stickers and then I just added them to the line. I had originally thought that I would add the stickers, which I do. Right here it says I want to, and I'm going to spell out scream. These letter stickers are so super tiny. I love them. I loved the pink color of them. I loved that there were there's several more A's and more E's and like the letters that you use. There's also upper and lowercase. So at some point I started mixing them because I would run out of a certain letter like in uppercase. And so I would just use the lowercase. I really like the way that that looked. On this particular card, I'm just saying I want to scream. And I'm lining up those letters on a ruler, and this never works for me. I don't know why I keep doing it. You're going to see that I end up shifting those totally around. I'm like, I just should have done it this way to begin with. I don't know if I do that on camera or not, but I end up just taking an X-Acto knife and shifting them around. So that's just a little trick. I don't know. Sometimes it works. I don't know. For me, it doesn't always work great. And then I remembered that I had these chipboard pieces, and I have that stamp set, the emoji stamp set, and I love anything that has emojis. I love, but I had that white chipboard with the sad face, and that worked out perfect to put there. I'm shifting these stickers around, and then I'll put that in the pocket. I did my dash lines, and I really loved adding the sticker. Like on this side, you can see that I added the orange sticker phrase, and it says today I feel, and then it says complicated. And I really like the way that that worked out. And then you see that I have some of the tags in certain places. And what I'm finding that I really like doing is looking through my stash. I mean, I have 10 years worth of getting kits from Ali Edwards, and I didn't always use the pieces in my kits. And so looking through that and saying, okay, I want to use all of this one thing, and then trying to use it up, I'm really enjoying that. See, I was going to try to use these, but I just didn't have the right ones. And this organization that you're looking at, I do have some footage that I will probably share on Friday of how I organized my die cut pieces that I've been getting from Ali Edwards. I went through and I have some footage of going through and organizing all of that in that little brown wicker basket. And I just did it by type, and I really love that I organized those. So you can see, like, I just pulled out all of my circle ones, and then I was looking for things that would work. I covered that card up, and then I used the circle, and then on that one, I don't know if I will type the journaling out or if I'll write it. I feel like it would be easier because it's in that circle shape and that circle is cut off. I feel like it would be easier to just handwrite it. Again, the journaling in January is the only thing that's not done. Now in February, I'm going to try something different for journaling. I'm kind of excited about it. I saw this on Instagram from a gal that I follow, and then I kind of asked her some questions and was just like, how do you do this? And she shared a few things with me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to figure this out. So journaling is the thing that is the hardest for me. I really struggle with journaling. I always tend to leave it until like the end. Like right now, none of my journaling is done. Like I was doing it on the computer like I've been doing the last year or so, where I just have a running like journaling document, and then I just have to transfer it into my album. And that has helped. That has been probably the most successful I've been with journaling, but it still is difficult. And so this other thing I'm going to try, it's just about trying things, right? And trying to figure out what is going to work and what isn't going to work. And so I'll be sharing that next month when we start in on February, and I share with you putting February together. I will share with you the different journaling that I will be doing.
And then I want to show you what I've used. So I used a lot of this sticker sheet. A lot of the rest of these are just ones that it just doesn't fit. Like there's a long strip of numbers. There's this strip down here that is like the emojis. I did use the number 3. Maybe I could use this 1, 2 right here. Maybe I could do this for like a story. Like there's okay, so let me back up. Okay, so I might be able to use those, but the rest of them are just ones that didn't fit. I'm gonna set this aside because I had an idea for my journaling. Then I used up this entire sheet. So this is the labels that are right here. So I'm so excited to use up all of that. I used quite a few of these. Again, a lot of these are like, there's a bunch of days of the week, like Monday, Tuesday, you know, all the way through. There's an AM and a PM. There is like watching. So there's a couple in here that I could probably still use, and I might still do that, but that might just get filtered in. I used a ton of these heart stickers, and I think that I probably used as much as I will. I think any more, and it's just going to be overkill. But I did get through like half of these, so that's nice. And then I used a ton of this sticker sheet. These are these letters. They're really super teeny tiny, but I used a ton of them. And at some point with your sticker sheets, you get to the point where you can't make any more words. Like there's just not enough letters. Like I'm all out of R's. A couple words I wanted to do, and I'll point out where I did them, but a couple of the things I wanted to put, like I was out of R's. I will keep this for the numbers. And then you can always also color in. I've seen people use like Sharpies or Copics or, you know, those kinds of, and like color in the letters and use them. I tend to, once I get to a certain point in the sticker sheet, I throw it away. Because I'm not going to have something sitting around that I'm not going to use. So I did use quite a few of my items. That felt really good. So I also did the tags. I think you saw me do that in some of my sped up footage, and I will journal on these, but I'm going to type the journaling. So they're already attached on here, and then I will type the journaling. I'm going to type some journaling for the bottom of this photo and the bottom of this photo. And then one of the things I wanted to point out is how I decide to add embellishments. So you can see that like here, corner to corner, I did the same thing. And then I did it on this side, so then I did it on this side. And then you'll see that kind of pattern that I do where it's like I try to do things diagonal, or I try to do 3 things on a page. I also tried to bring in like, so here's 2 pieces of orange, and then I did an orange heart over here to have that kind of bridge the pages together. So then here's this. Here is my LA. The LA fires, I do need to add journaling. So I want to add journaling right there. I don't know. I don't love the cards on here like this, but it is what it is. Every single pocket I don't have to love. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I added hope right here because this talks about, and the darkest night produces the brightest stars. And so I added the word hope here. You can hardly see it against this pattern, but that's okay. And then here I did the 2 label stickers, and I actually stamped on that. and then you flip it over, and then I did the 2 label stickers here. I added an orange label here. And then this page is still not finished. I still need to grab that one photo and then do the journaling. You'll see that there at the end. On my calendar, I added the hearts up here, and then I added the word phrase stickers on here. And I don't know, that might be all that I do. On the back here, I still just have that one piece. I have my business card project that is not finished. It needs journaling, and then I'm debating on just taking this out because I'm not loving the way that it is looking. I also might just cut this down and add my business card, like add this one here, add this one here, add a card, another card here, and just add it, and so that it's just the business cards and it's not this extra piece, just because I'm just not loving it. I just feel like there's a lot of wasted space. There's not a ton of journaling that I want to do on here, and so I'm thinking that I might change that. And then I lost a card. I cannot find it for the life of me. I cannot figure out where it went. So I need to get a card for that. And then on here, I did projects. So I used the letter stickers. I did project. I added a heart sticker here. And this is just a photo where I did a collage layout. So I did 4 photos, and then for it to fit in a 4x6, there was like this little bit of space, which I was totally fine with because I had wanted to add something right there. I want to, this year, one of my goals with Project Life is to do some collage photos like this because I think it gives you such an impact, and not just the standard like quarter photos that I do in the Project Life app, but I've been exploring a couple other apps that allow you to do some different ways of doing your collages. And like this is another one that I really liked the way it came out, and there's like a smaller photo up top, and then that photo is a little bit bigger, and then you can see that I did a label sticker and the heart, and I just feel like that gives such an impact and is just a little bit different. So I did a smaller photo on top here, larger photo on bottom, and then I flipped it, and then I did the same kind of embellishment. And then on this card right here, I had wanted to do, like, this is outside. It was a bunch of pictures I asked my husband to get. He was doing a bunch of stuff outside. And I wanted to document, like, some of the things that just when you have property, there's always stuff that you have to do. And we live in the country. We have to cut our own wood for heat in the wintertime. And so there's always like piles of things that need to be done. And so I went through my chipboard, my small chipboard, and I just found 1 through 5. And I put them on here. And then I just wrote out some of the projects that need to be done, like creating a space for the wood that we stack for the winter, taking down the trampoline, our kids don't use it anymore, cleaning out like the piles of stuff around, like we just have like a couple piles of things like old tarps that are ripped up from the weather, and like we've got to get rid of those. And the trampoline items, the trampoline is broken, and so we won't be able to sell it. But like those kinds of things, like, so I just listed some of the things around here that we need to do, and then I'll add journaling here. Over here, I used these label stickers. Now, I wish I would have had one more label sticker that I could have put on this one, but I added this at the very last minute because I had one label sticker left and I wanted to use it. And then you can see on these cards here, like this one, I used the letter stickers. So this says I want to, and then I just spelled out scream. And then on this one, I put a label sticker, today I feel, and then it says complicated. And then over here, happiness is new experiences. And so I just added the labels and added a couple little thoughts to that, and then added the word phrase sticker right by the label, and then added a heart. I didn't add a heart here because I just felt like it wouldn't go. And then on this one, I added a heart here. I will do journaling here, a label sticker here, and then a label sticker here. So you can see, again, I did this diagonal where the label goes off this off the photo on this side. So I made the label go off the photo on this side, and then I added the heart. And then on here, I just put Violet, and I added a heart. That's a picture of her out in the yard. Not every single photo has an embellishment, which is totally fine. That works. I do need to find a card for that. And I might just add this. That could work. And then the last thing that I will do, and you will see at the very end of this video, is I am going to add my journaling. I'm going to go ahead and get that done. I just have to do that I'll do that on the computer. And add it to a couple of those spots. And then there's a couple spots like this card right here. I will hand journal, and this will go on the back of here. So I've just been using, like, this is the back of a photo. Okay, so I'll need to trim this down a little bit more.
So for the most part, I have wrapped up January. Like I said, I do need to do my journaling. I know I said I was going to wrap that up, but I just never got a chance to. I did cut the business card page protector. I did end up cutting that down, and then I will add my journaling in these different spots. I'm okay with that, and then I do need to just wrap up a few things for that one layout for the casino. In February, I'm sure that you will see exactly where I'm at because I always flip back through, but I really wanted to wrap up January in a way that I felt good about moving on. So in March, you will see February. Sort of how I'm working this year, where I'm trying to do whatever month we're in, I am working in my past month for Project Life. I have already picked my core kit and the product that I'm going to use. So I'm excited about that, and I'm hoping to feel a little bit better about settling into my album. I'm not loving it. I usually very much love like the first few months of the year. I'm usually very excited to start. I usually love the product I've picked, and I'm settling in. This year, I am not loving January, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to February. I don't want to spend more time on January because I'm afraid I'm going to rip it all out and redo it, and that's not necessary. So next week, we will start in on February, so I hope you will join me for next week's Project Life Weekly. Thank you so much for checking out my video. Here on the screen are 2 other videos that you can check out if you would like. If you remember watching this video and you've missed any of the member videos, or you're new, you can go back and watch older member videos if you would like. Thank you so much for checking out my video, and I will catch you in my very next project.